hands to the beat of the song to make sure that you properly scrub it up, scrub it up on time. Don't get sick, but if you do, go to the doctor, they'll take care of you. Oh yeah, hygiene. Don't freak out, wash your hands. Don't freak out, wash your hands. Don't freak out, wash your hands. And now your hands are clean. Seriously, wash your damn hands.
What's up everybody, David here from Free to Be, and in today's video I'm going to go over 9 things that'll help you prepare for the upcoming recession that's going to be caused by this coronavirus outbreak. COVID-19 is a real thing and it's a challenge many people are facing right now in this world. So there are 9 things that you can do right now to prepare yourself, and you're going to want to watch this whole video because all 9 are pretty important. Now, I know that a lot of you are stressing out, but remember, stress and panic is not going to help your situation right now. It's time to think logically. It's time to think based on facts and evidence and research. So basically take a deep breath, calm down. We're all going to be fine. You know, we'll look back 2 years from now, a year from now, and just be like, why did we panic so much? So the first things first, guys, everyone calm down. We'll get through it. And thanks for coming and watching this video. It really means a lot to me. So if you're new and you haven't done so already, take a moment and hit the subscribe button down below. And if you're coming back, thanks for joining me again. It really does mean a lot, and hopefully I can get your guys' mind off of things. So I appreciate you checking it out for that. And if you enjoyed this content, goes without saying, show me some love by clicking the like button down below. I'll really appreciate it. Okay, so the first thing you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna assume that hiring is still happening at many companies. Now, I know one of the biggest things that occurs during a recession is layoffs, specifically around industries that are most heavily impacted. And this recession that could, be resulted from the COVID-19 virus is not going to be any different. There are going to be a large amount of layoffs. Hopefully it doesn't impact you, but if it does, just remember that yes, maybe your industry is hit hard and maybe that's caused layoffs within your specific organization, but other industries might still be hiring. It still might be a great time for you to get jobs. So if you recently lost your job, or if you're thinking about, that could be happening for you in the future, now's a great time to work on that resume, update your skills, and start interviewing and kind of getting yourself out there. Start networking a little bit more. I know that right now it's a little bit more difficult because we're all practicing the social distancing, but you can still network on LinkedIn. You can still reach out to friends or, acquaintances or colleagues that you've interacted with over the years. You can still work on that resume, and maybe it's a time to really improve it. So you can do all that right now. Just prepare yourself for that worst case scenario, for that unfortunate scenario, so that it doesn't catch you off guard, so that you can go and find another job. And you might actually end up leveraging yourself even better. So if you do get an offer while everything is going on, maybe your employer will want to keep you because they see that you're actually pretty valuable and that you can go out there and basically demand any kind of job you want. So it's a great time, great opportunity to start working and brushing up on those resumes, those interview skills, and just generally networking without face-to-face interaction. All right, so the next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to treat your credit score like it's gold. And that basically means don't mess things up. Don't go out there and spend a lot of money on your credit cards that you might not have, and don't just tank this thing, because ultimately, if you are in a bind and you do need to get a short-term loan or some kind of credit just on a temporary basis to cover your living expenses, if you have bad credit, you're not going to be able to do that. And the problem is going to be that it's going to be, compounded by the fact that you might not have a job, so you have no means to improve that credit. So treat your credit like gold at these times. You might not be able to improve it much right now, but don't let it go down either. Just treat your credit like gold, and that'll also give you a little bit of an extra safety net should things go south for you. All right, the third thing to help you prepare for a potential recession due to this COVID-19 outbreak is to keep an eye on the retirement fund and how you are funding that and any withdrawals that you might be thinking about making. look, I know there's a lot of market volatility right now, but it's not the time to go and, suspend your contributions to your 401k or take out a 401k loan. In fact, you should stay steady pack on those long-term investment goals and continue contributing. Sure, don't increase your contributions if you're struggling to kind of make ends meet or trying to build a cash reserve. You should focus on building the cash reserve, but don't change those either. Don't take a loan out against the 401k unless it's an absolute emergency. Try to leave that retirement fund in place, and then you'll watch it grow way down the line, 5, 10, 15 years from now. You'll be much more better off by not having touched it in the time of crisis, in a time of panic, or in any kind of recession. So leave those alone, keep an eye on it. If you want to put it into more stable things like bonds or ETFs as opposed to just stocks, you can do that, and you can find a financial advisor that'll help you make those determinations, but don't touch it. Try not to stop the contributions or withdraw funds from those accounts. All right, so the next thing you're going to want to do to prepare for a recession is to shed off as much debt as possible in order to lower your overhead. Because with a lower overhead, you're going to need lower cash reserves should you lose your job or run into any kind of financial hardship. So now's the time to focus on those high interest debts, on any kind of recurring payments that you're making, and try to shed those while you can. Try to figure out ways to be creative. If you can try to get some extra income through the door before you lose your job, try to shed off as much debt as you can, because you got to look at it this way, right? If you have a credit card that you're paying 20% interest on, by paying that credit card off, you've effectively increased your savings by 20%. In a weird way, by not paying that 20% interest, you are making 20% more money. And that doesn't necessarily equate to dollar for dollar, but you get what I'm trying to say. By not having that $300 credit card payment, that's $300 less you're going to have to worry about every single month trying to come up with $300 to pay that credit card. So shed off as much debt as possible during this time, and then that way you can be, a little bit more comfortable with the cash that you do have. Okay, so the fifth tip I have here for a time of crisis is to become your current employer's MVP. Do whatever it takes to stand out among all the other employees. If that means putting in more hours, even without pay, right? If that means doing the things that other people don't want to do, stand out, become versatile, become such a valuable member of your team that they'll look at you and be like, this person is not expendable. We cannot get rid of this person. We'll sooner get rid of 3 other people before we get rid of this person. You want to be that person. You want to be the MVP. You want to bring such great value for the amount of pay that you're getting. Sure, you might be overworked for a little while, but you are basically trying to secure that job and show your employer that you are truly a valuable member of their team. And if they can see that, if you can produce some kind of tangible effect, some kind of work product that will show them that you are valuable, there's no way they'll get rid of you. Even in times of recession, unless the whole company goes down and goes under, which, in this situation might happen for a lot of companies, but usually that doesn't happen. So unless that happens, you're going to be safe. Work harder than the employee next to you, your coworker, your colleague, your friend, whoever you're working with. You want to outgrind them, because right now is the time to secure your job so that you're going to be fine going forward. And again, there could be other benefits too, right? If the economy ends up rebounding and we don't actually face a recession, but they see that you're putting in so much hard work, that could actually lead to a promotion or to a different role within your organization. So it's never a bad idea to grind, but right now it really pays off the most. So make sure you can be the MVP for your boss, and you'll be in great shape. All right, now the sixth thing you're going to want to do here during this time is get some side hustle jobs going for yourself. Come up with unique ways to create some extra income. I know right now a lot of businesses are hurting. A lot of small businesses, specifically restaurants, bars, are struggling to kind of make ends meet, to kind of, deliver food, drinks, whatever, maybe to patrons. And so right now is a great time to become like an Uber Eats driver or one of those Grubhub drivers or any kind of food delivery service driver and make some extra income. Yes, I know that you might be increasing your interaction with people, but there's still smart ways about doing it where you can drop it off at the door so you don't actually have to interact too much with people. You can pick it up from the restaurant really easily. They have now outside curbside pickups where some employee of the restaurant can bring you the food right to your car, and then you can drop it off at the front door of the person who ordered it without ever interacting with anybody. So these are just some ideas. Come up with ways to make some extra income on the side so that you're not primarily relying on that main source of income. You have other options available to you, and that'll kind of decrease the blow of if you were to lose your job, because you don't have to worry about a big paycheck coming in if you can have a few little paychecks coming in to supplement that income until you get yourself back on your feet. And that'll also help basically save the cash reserves that you do have, so you don't go through all of them in one emergency. You don't want to blow all your cash reserves just because there's a recession. You want to still have that and maintain it the best you can, and having side jobs will really help do that. All right, so the seventh strategy to implement here right now during this time is to do a recession drill for yourself. And what that means is right now, get out a piece of paper, get out a pencil, and imagine what would happen if you no longer had a job. So let's say tomorrow you have no more income coming into the door. How would you survive? What kind of bills do you have? Where would you get the money from? Do a drill for yourself, write it down, right? Your best way to kind of get a good grasp on everything that's out there in terms of your finances, in terms of bills you have to pay, in terms of money that you have, just write it down, kind of visualize it that way, and that way you can kind of get yourself in that mindset mentality of if things were to go south quickly, if things went south in a day, how would I react? What would I need to do? Kind of write out a plan, write out what expenses you would have over a 3-month period, write out how you would pay those expenses, and then write down what your plan would be to go out and make some more money. Because look, the truth is, we're all gonna have to make money. There will be times where we lose our jobs, recession or not. It's not guaranteed that your employer keeps you forever. So you always wanna have a plan, and it's a great way to do that by visualizing and writing a drill for yourself to kind of get that in your mind. All right, so the 8th tip that you can implement right now is to figure out how you can spend less over the next 6 months to a year. Try to cut costs. If you have 6 streaming services, you don't need 6 streaming services. Pick your favorite one, maybe your favorite 2, and keep those. If you're using, 1 gigabyte internet and you don't actually need that fast of a speed, evaluate that and maybe decrease that speed, saving you some costs on a month-to-month basis. Try to figure out what your reoccurring expenses are and try to cut those down as much as possible. Now's the time to kind of tighten up the spending. If you'd like to go to stores and buy clothes on a monthly basis and spend $100, $200, maybe right now you kind of forego that for the next few months. Whatever your vice may be, if you like to go out for drinks, I mean, right now we can't go out for drinks, but if you like to go out for drinks, maybe you skip that for the next couple months until the economy kind of stabilizes and you get your footing again and you feel comfortable in where you are. It's always a great time to evaluate your expenses. You should never not do that, but this time specifically, it's really important to evaluate where you spend and kind of try to decrease that going forward. All right, and the last tip, the 9th strategy to implement right now to kind of help recession-proof yourself against the outcomes of the COVID-19 virus is going to be to save, and save some more. Figure out ways to save money at all costs, whatever it is. If it's an extra $20 here, an extra $50 here, an extra $100 here, whatever it is for you, whatever makes you comfortable, do it. Save, save, save. Cash is king. Build up as much cash reserves as you can. Remember, the goal is to have 3 months of your living expenses covered if an emergency were to take place, but that's just the minimum threshold. You can save 6 months, you can save 12 months. How comfortable would you be if you had 24 months worth of living expenses in your bank account right now? You would even have a freer feel, a freer vibe when you go into work every day. You would probably perform better. You wouldn't be thinking about and stressed out about money, because money is the #1 stressor that humans face, especially in this country, where capitalist society, where everyone's buying things and you're trying to keep up with the Joneses. But you need to worry less about money, because when you worry less about money, you really get to live your potential. You really get to live the best life you can live. You'll be much happier for it. So right now is the time to implement some saving techniques and just save as much money as possible. All right, guys, well, that's all I had for this video. Hopefully these 9 strategies help you out. If you like them, if you like this content, let me know in the comments down below. Again, if you're new to this channel, please go ahead and take a moment and subscribe down below. It really means a lot. I hope that I gave you guys something to think about and take your mind off of everything that's going on. Remember, we're gonna get through this. It's gonna be fine. Just stay focused on the long-term goals, stay focused on the long-term objectives, and we'll get through it together. And also, it goes without saying, please practice social distancing. We have to try to flatten this curve right now any way we can. Wash those hands, guys. Come on, that's an easy one. And before you know it, we'll be over this crisis and everything will be back to normal. And with that said, we'll see you next time.